Hello everyone. I don't really know what's happening on this channel anymore. There's like one video of me skiing and some videos of me and my little cousin complaining about things, and now I want to review a book. So that's what we're gonna do. So today I wanted to talk about the book Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin? However you say it. And this is getting a little spoilery, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, there's the door. So I read Serpent and Dove about 2 months ago when it was highly, highly recommended to me by many, many people. A lot of people know that I really like Sarah J. Maas, and people were like, if you like her, you're gonna like this book. Like, this is a good book. And if you don't read it, you're gonna regret it. It's like, alright, like, I'll read it, I'll see what's going on, like, why there's so much hype around it. And so I read it, and I still don't really know how I feel about it. Like, I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, I thought it was a perfectly fine book. I thought it had a perfectly fine story, but I don't know, I just didn't really do it for me. I think it ended up being, like, way too hyped up. Like, people were like, this is the best book in the universe, it's so spicy. By the way, it's not that spicy. There's one spicy scene. Anyway, let's talk about it. Okay, so the book starts off with our main character, Lou, and basically through kind of a bunch of different events, so first, before I get to that, so Lou is a witch, and at the beginning of the story, she has run away from her cousin for a reason that we don't really know yet. We just know that she's on the run with her friend Coco, and that there's this order of men who are witch hunters, and their whole job is to hunt down witches. Okay. So basically what happens is there's Lou, and then there's this witch hunter guy, and these witch hunters are called chasseurs. I think that's how you say it. This is supposed to be going on in, like, medieval France. And so this guy's name is Reed, and he's supposed to be, like, the hottest guy in existence. Like, 6'5", bright red hair, chiseled everything, like, absolute perfection. So basically what happens is Lou gets into a little bit of a scuffle where she kind of gets beaten up, and in the backstage of a playhouse, Reed, like, chases her down, and they end up, like, falling on the stage in front of all these people. And so the priest, who is, like, head of the chasseurs, head of the church, obviously, he's like, okay, this looks bad. So to make it look less bad, we're gonna have you two get married so that people think you're not, like, beating your wife. Because when they fall out onto the stage, it looks like Reed was chasing down Lou to beat her. This is kind of where I was first started to be a little disappointed with the story. Because when I first heard that it was, like, a witch marrying a witch hunter, I was like, okay, how is this gonna happen? Like, how are they gonna come in contact with each other? Like, I truthfully thought that it was gonna be something like the witches are having an issue and the witch hunters are having a similar issue, and, like, these two have to get married knowing full well who they are to, like, help each other out. And when they get married, Reed doesn't know that Lou is a witch. And I don't know, I think just that kind of took something out of it for me. I genuinely don't know why, because, you know, her having this horrible secret is, I think, supposed to be part of, like, the fun, and, like, part of the mystery to it. But after reading that, I was kind of like, oh, so there's not some, like, bigger plot behind why they're getting married. It was literally just because of this circumstance. So I was like, alright, like, whatever, I guess we're gonna keep going. Okay, so anyway, Reed and Lou get married, and then she has to go like live with him and all the other chasseurs in their tower. They live in a tower, but I think it's like around a church. I don't know. I was confused. So anyway, Reed is like this sexist. Let's just start with sexist. So, he's sexist and he's calling Lou like an animal and a heathen and like you're not a person and kind of being rude. And of course, Lou is just, man, she's biting right back. And so, anyway, where I was going is the priest is like, for this marriage to be real, you guys have to consummate it. And Reed's all like, oh, I'm so like in love with this other girl and I don't want to do this. And Lou is like, screw you. And so basically what ends up happening is they don't actually like do it. Lou cuts her arm and just sprays the entire bed with her blood. And this was another part where I didn't really know how to feel, because when you do it for the first time, there should not be that much blood. But this is a story, so I guess we're not concerned with that. So anyway, the story goes along, and there's this kid named Ansel who is basically supposed to be Lou's bodyguard. He's like 16. And to get a rise out of Reed, Lou was like, oh, maybe I'll sleep with him to, like, make you mad. And then Reed's like, you're not human, and they hate each other. So, anyway, the story keeps going, and I'm kind of going to skip over the middle part because it just kind of went through my head. Like, nothing was really happening, and it really just didn't grab my attention all that much. And so anyway, kind of near the end of the book, we get to the point where there are a bunch of witches gathering, and like there's this big gathering in the square, and they're like, the witches are like putting on this play, and it's just a huge info dump. Like, that is all this scene does, which, like, okay, cool. But I feel like there's a better way that this could have been done, and it's been done better before. But this was where I really started, like, getting more interested in the story, because it turns out that the priest is actually Lou's dad, and Lou's mom is, like, the head witch. And the reason that Lou ran away from her coven was that she was supposed to be like this huge sacrifice, like save all the witches. And they put on this big play, and then the witches start attacking everyone, and Reed finds out that Lou is a witch. And kind of how he finds out about this is that there are other witches that are attacking him, and witches, when they use their magic, they put off a smell. So there's some like repercussion for them using their magic, which I do like. I do like that they can't just use their magic whenever they want. Where was I going? Anyway, in the end, Lou like gets captured by the other witches, and then Reed and her friend Coco and Ansel and one other guy, they have to like go save her. And so, end of the book, they save her, and they find out that, and I still don't know how this really, like, how they made this connection, but apparently Reed is, like, the son of a witch, and maybe he has some kind of power. I don't know. So anyway, now they're gonna go to Coco's coven to get protection. That is where the book ends. So, again, I had a lot of thoughts on this book. Did I think that this was the best book I'd ever read? No. Because again, I feel like it was hyped up a lot. So I was prepared for this amazing story and like amazing characters and like all these sexy scenes. That just didn't happen. Again, there was one sexy scene, and I personally could not really get into that much because it was like literally in the middle of almost a blizzard. And I don't know, that doesn't sound that fun to me. If that's what you're into, Good for you. So one of my first thoughts when I started like reading this book, I think it was a couple chapters in, and I realized that these characters, that Lou and Reed, are like worse versions of Nina and Matthias from Six of Crows. And Cindy Reeves said this way better, but like, make Matthias 10 times more sexist and Nina 10 times more annoying. And that's basically what you've got. So I felt like this book was just like, it saw these two characters and was like, let's make a story out of them, but let's make them way more annoying. And then one other kind of issue that I had was the fact that the only character of color that is seen in this book is named Coco. And now I know that that can be gotten away with because that is a French name. It's a shortened version of a French name, but I'm still not really sure about that, you know? So, did I love this book? No. Did I hate it? No. Am I gonna read the next one? I don't know. People say that the second book has a very good cliffhanger, but I don't know. I couldn't really get into the story that much, and I feel like there are better books out there for me to read. That's just me personally. I know a lot of people, and a lot of people really enjoy this book, and good for them. So that's kind of what I've got to say about this book. If you'd like to, you can certainly go check it out, but you do what you want. You do what you want. So that's all for today. I don't think anyone is ever going to see this video, but please have a lovely day. Goodbye.